Warning, the following video contains an opinion performed by a trained YouTube film fanatic at his local multiplex. Hi. It's just me here. That bloke. In his favourite place. Down the hall, the standees are still up. The capes, the helmets, the multiverse of the week. But nobody's queuing anymore because the summer is over. It's been 3 months. A grueling 3-month fever dream of Spider-Men, Supergirls, a Star War, a lily pad, Ewan McGregor's bad accent. Get out of there, run! The machine has been at full tilt, squeezing every last drop out of us. Terrified to let a single franchise lay down and die. But the fever has broken, the temperature has dropped, and this weekend I'm not going to go and review 3 films. I'm going to take a walk down the carpeted hallway of my local multiplex, and I'm going to open 3 doors, and I'm going to see what actual cinema looks like when the blockbusters have retreated. 3 doors, because the kids and the tweens have had their say, and now the adults are talking. So door number 1. I opened it, and Jason Statham punched me in the face, and my God, I wanted it. It felt good because after a whole summer of weightless, consequence-free, $100 million cartoon action, I wanted the crunch. A man, a boat, Jean-François Richet behind the camera, and some honest, practical violence. I walked in ready to plant my flag in the ground and say it out loud. No irony, Statham is cinema. But the flag did not go in. Here's the thing about the Statham formula, the version when it works. He needs something to put down. A weapon he's retired, a job he's left behind, a bee farm to tend to. The pleasure is the sheath, and you wait for the knife to come off the mantelpiece. This one, Mutiny, he's a framed head of security with the knife already out on page 1, and he's just cross about it. He's moody for 2 hours and he just curdles. No reluctance, no engine, a scowl on a boat. Even worse, the revenge lines in it aren't even clear, and then it crowbars in a white saviour template, so it doesn't know who he's avenging or why he's the one who gets to. It's just a rudderless film set on a boat, you get it? Look, I know where this road goes. Steven Seagal did Boat Then Train, Under Siege 1 and 2, and then he ended up throwing punches from a chair. It's a marker. Statham's now on a boat in a film with no reason to exist. I hope he's not going to be on a train next. Look, hand on heart, it's 1 dud against a solid run. Wrath of Man, The Beekeeper, the Meg films. We deserve better, and he knows he deserves better. If he's going to go out on the water, just give us Meg 3. At least the Meg knows exactly what it is. Man punches shark, you have fun. Ronseal does exactly what it says on the tin. That's what this cargo ship forgot to be. I'm hoping the fix already exists. Next year, David Leitch, Bullet Train, Fall Guy, John Wick, he puts him in Jason Statham Stole My Bike. A meta-comedy where Statham plays Statham, global action superstar. A film about the brand aimed at the brand. Because the way out of the seagull chair isn't another grudge and another gun. It's a self-aware film that knows exactly why it exists. Which, funnily enough, is the whole reason I'm here this weekend. So I walked out of that one back into the hallway, and I realised I didn't want it louder, I didn't want more, I wanted the opposite of what I sat through. I wanted a film that remembered why it exists. 2 doors left, and after Blackberry and Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, there was only really one question behind door number 2. What was Matt Johnson cooking up next? And I opened that door and stepped into a humid, cramped kitchen in 1970s Provincetown. And there he was. Not the icon, not the fella off the telly with the leather jacket and the frequent flyer miles. I saw a skinny, arrogant, chain-smoking kid years before anyone called him Anthony Bourdain. A lifetime before the word icon got anywhere near him. The man who'd spend the rest of his days refusing to be sold a phony version of anything. And here's the film about the summer that he first got hungry. And the man cooking behind the camera, Matt Johnson, all motor and handheld mayhem, he's gone and made the calmest thing in the building. Turns out what he was cooking was low and slow. Because here's the trap this one could have fallen into. The Hollywood biopic is traditionally the most insulting genre at the multiplex. Studios treating us like idiots or fanboys, force feeding us a Wikipedia article crammed into 2 hours, or scratching every nostalgia itch that they can put into a Michael Jackson biopic. Tony doesn't do that. It takes a cue from last year's Springsteen picture, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's a slice of life. It's not trying to crowbar Anthony Bourdain's entire tragic, complicated existence into a single narrative. It's just one defined moment, a kid with a purpose, and that purpose is mostly just trying to sleep with a girl from back home. Dominic Sessa brings an incredible abrasive quality to the role. He isn't playing for sympathy at all. He's kind of an arsehole, and then the charisma shines through the grit. And Antonio Banderas stepping in as the kitchen mentor, he grounds the whole thing. It gives you the pressure cooker of a working restaurant, but it doesn't feel the need to scream at you 100 miles an hour like The Bear does. Just feels like work. We know the darkness that's coming for Tony. The film plants those seeds, but it respects us enough not to underline them in a thick red marker. An origin story on a slippery slope told quietly, and it was the exact hand on my shoulder I needed after the boat. So I closed the door behind me, happy with the time that I had. But if Tony was the quiet conversation in the corner, the third door is going to be where the adults get loud, horny, and absolutely batshit. I opened the door to teenage sex and death at Camp Miasma, and the killer, Little Death, drove their long, sharp spear straight through my chest. Out of the entire triple bill, this is the one that's been pacing around in my head since. I knew within the first 10 minutes I was completely in on this film. I could see equally why another audience member might what the fuck themselves out of the theatre. But here's where the weekend comes full circle. Think back to that boat and Jason. A brand running on empty. A man the machine wouldn't let stop. Camp Miasma is the same disease, scaled up to a whole franchise. The reboot that will not die. Except this film knows it. It grabs the slasher film, particularly Friday the 13th, but the slasher genre, grabs it by the scuff of the neck and forces it to stare at itself. All summer, I've moaned that Hollywood can't let anything die. This is the film that puts the corpse on the table and does the autopsy. And even that is barely half of what this film is. There's an army of craftspeople all pulling the same way. It's beautifully shot, it's beautifully scored. The whole aesthetic of the camp is immaculate. Hannah Einbinder is spellbinding, only to be eclipsed by a colossal performance from Gillian Anderson. Stripping out the meta and the mayhem though, there's something tender underneath this and heartfelt, and that's the part that stayed with me. It's a queer coming of age, a story about desire, but about identity, about a body that's changing and a kid learning, slowly, to find some comfort in their own skin. The slasher film part of this, that's just a vehicle. The real subject is the terror and the thrill of becoming who you're meant to be or who you are. That's why the killer is called Little Death, Le Petit Mort in French, meaning the shiver of an orgasm. It's a film soaked in unspoken desire and violent awakening. It's about wanting, about being seen, and about the body as the place all of it plays out in. Is it subtle? God no, it takes huge, audacious swings, and yeah, it misses a few, right? But I'll take those peaks and valleys told with rare, unapologetic confidence. I'll take this over something Netflix has ground down into a bland, algorithm-friendly carrot soup any day of the week. I had a great time hanging out in the kitchen with Tony this weekend, but the real cinematic experience this weekend, it was out in the woods at Camp Miasma. The kids' table is closed. Cinema for adults is back. Let's go reclaim that dark space before whatever algorithmic slop they've got cooking for Halloween gets here. And for the record, Statham still is cinema, even when the film isn't. I told you not to try this at home.
Would you like to know more?